Hello everybody and welcome to the December 2021 update to the Disney Chris website and the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour. And I have a very special place in my heart for this time of year, as do many of you. So I decided to play some holiday tunes as we open this month's episode. But the main event is going to be an update to the chapter I'm currently working on, which is Bear/Critter Country, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Before that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah. It is currently Hanukkah. It began just a couple nights ago, and it came early this year, so we are currently in the midst of the Hanukkah season. I'd also like to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, and to those who do not celebrate either, Happy Winter. Speaking of Christmas, I do have a perfect gift for a Disney fan out there. And if you are looking for something unique and special, be sure to visit our online store where you can purchase different items emblazoned with either our Dateline Jiminy Crickets or the Disney Chris Audio Tour emblem. T-shirts, stickers, notebooks, mugs, plus many other things. So be sure to check that out. To get to that, you go to jcpodcast.threadless.com. Now, I just want to quickly go through several of the special things I have planned throughout December, my holiday happenings for 2021. First of all, on this exact same YouTube channel is a very special episode of Dateline Jiminy Crickets, which is completely Christmas themed, where we go through the Christmas of Disneyland past and Disneyland present. And we also do a top 20 list of the best Disney Christmas shorts of all time. So be sure to check out that episode of Dateline Jiminy Crickets, which is already available on this YouTube channel. In addition, every day throughout December, as I have been doing since 2013, I will be doing the Disney Christmas Song of the Day. So on my homepage, every day will be a new song with a Christmas theme. So be sure to check that out throughout the month. Also, on social media, mainly Facebook, I will be posting 100 Disney images of Christmas. Each day from now until the 25th, I will be posting 4 special Disney images every day. One of them will be on my Facebook profile page. One will be in the group Vintage Disneyland. One will be in the group Jiminy Crickets Podcast, which is the special Facebook group for our podcast. And then one will be posted in the group Disney Music Fans, which is another group that I moderate on Facebook. I'll also be posting all 4 of these images on Twitter each day. And Brian, who runs my Instagram account, will be sharing these on Instagram as well. Not all 100, but many of them will be posted there as well on my Instagram, which is JC_Jiminy. I forget what it is. Find me on Instagram. JC_podcast or something like that. Anyway, he runs it, so I don't really pay as much attention to the name of my account as I should, I guess. And last but not least, Christmas Time in Disneyland is a chapter of the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour, which is available all year. But this is a great time to check it out because it's over 100 tracks which are all themed to Disneyland and Christmas time, from past to present. So be sure to check out all that special Christmas music over there. Last thing I want to mention before we get to the update is every year I post a brand new Disney song on what I call my Song of the Year timeline. And I'm looking for candidates for the best song of the year for 2021. So if you have a particular Disney song that was released in the year 2021, not a cover of an older song, but a brand new song from a new film or TV series or attraction that premiered in 2021, please contact me via Facebook, Instagram, Patreon if you're a Patreon subscriber, YouTube, or Twitter, and let me know what your vote is, and I will consider everybody's candidates before I choose a song sometime after Christmas, and I will post that song as this year's entry in my special Disney Song of the Year timeline, which is featured on my website. So now let's get to the update of the Disneyland Magical Audio Tour. This past month, I have been working on the chapter for Bear/Critter Country, and I am still working on it. I have not completed it. I'm about halfway done adding the new tracks, and I'll go through the new ones that I have added. But the first part of the month, I was setting all the new tracks up for final cleanup. So that part of the job is completely done. And just about a week or maybe a week and a half ago, I started doing the final cleanup on the tracks I already have edited and adding them to the website. So several have been added already, and I am pretty confident that the rest of the chapter will be completed in December, and I even probably will be able to begin a new chapter by the end of the month. But if you have a chapter in particular that you would like me to work on next, send me a message, let me know. I will take it into consideration. I think I only have a few left. I think the Rivers of America, Frontierland, Toontown, and Disneyland Showtime are the ones that I have left. Showtime are all the live shows and whatnot. There are a few tracks here and there on other chapters that I have not completed, but they're just sort of a smattering of tracks. Those chapters are mostly done. So those are the ones that I kind of need to really get done. So it's coming close. I have a feeling that 2022 might be the year where I'm able to finally say that everything on the Magical Audio Tour is updated. So we'll see if that happens this year. I got a lot done in 2021, that's for sure. So we'll see how that goes. So again, this is the special chapter for Bear Country and Critter Country, which is titled A Real Honey of a Place, where we journey into the northern pine woods to walk among the woodland critters. Here we enjoy a comical country jamboree, splash down a waterfall into a whimsical song of the Old South. I can't see it. It's too small for me to read. Let me blow it up. Okay. And meet a lovable old bear and his many animal friends. Sorry about that. So, this basically is everything that has been in this area of the park from 1972 forward, past to present. So, this is going to encompass Bear Country and Critter Country, this chapter. So let's look at the site and see what I have added so far, and I'll give you a brief description of everything new that's been added. Some of these are going to be redo, and some of them are going to be pretty much brand new to the site. So the first track is what you're actually listening to right now, which is the Bear Country area background music. Now, it includes some of the songs from that 1972 Disneyland record of the Country Bear Jamboree, which are on side B, which was area music specifically recorded for Bear Country, and it also includes some other popular songs. It's sort of a mix of both. I think that originally, now this is just an educated guess, that the area music was just that. And then in the 80s, I think they added these additional songs and extended the loop when the Vacation Hoedown opened, I believe. I could be wrong, but that seems logical. So that's track number 5, which you're actually listening to right now as background music for this. Now, track number 6 is not new. It's a redo. I just did some very minor cleanup, and this is exactly what I was just talking about. Just those songs from the side B of that Country Bear Jamboree album. So all the songs originally recorded for the Country Bear background music, which played in the Mile Long Bar, I'm absolutely sure, because I do remember it. I'm old enough to remember Bear Country before it became Critter Country. And also, I remember them playing it in the lobby as you were waiting to go into the main show of the Country Bear Jamboree. So, Ursus H. Bear Wilderness Outpost is the gift shop, which I think is now called Pooh Corner. But originally it was Ursus H. Bear, and they had the player piano from Main Street in there. They moved it to Bear Country, and it was in there for several years, and it played the same song over and over again all day, My Darling Clementine. So I have a player piano version of My Darling Clementine. I had one on there already, but I didn't like it. It sounded too much like electronically reproduced music. I have a more authentic sounding player piano. Now, I don't think it's the same player role that actually played in the park, but it is authentic player piano music. Teddy Bear's Swingin' Arcade Hoof and Henry was already on the site, but I did some minor cleanup. This was the little arcade machine where you put in money and then you could control Henry and make him dance. It had strings. They currently have this machine in the Penny Arcade, but they changed the character to Pinocchio. But for a long time it was Henry the Bear. I think they did a Woody version of it, and it's in the Wilderness Outpost in Frontierland. I think that might be the one that used to be Henry, and the Pinocchio one was built brand new. Or it could be vice versa, but I know one of them was formerly the Henry machine. So that was on the site already, but I did some cleanup and added a better version. Teddy Bear's Swingin' Arcade. Now, I had this on the site already, and it was a longer version, but the sound was from a live recording, and it was really awful. So I redid it. I found a somewhat better recording of it. It's still very muffled, but I think that's just the sound quality of the actual recording that was made. Didn't have very good speakers, or it wasn't recorded in the best, it's old, so. But this is slightly shorter, but the sound quality is a huge improvement over what I had. And this, you could see in the picture, was this little mechanical cowboy and you had a shootout with him, and you drew the gun, and whoever could draw faster would win. It was in there for several years in the teddy bear. And then this was another machine added in the 90s, and it was called Mad Dog McCree. And it was sort of a video, as you can see in the picture. It had like a film that played, and you shot at the actual video that you were watching. And I have pretty much the whole storyline here. It's on YouTube, so you can actually go watch it if you're interested. But it's just basically a typical cowboy shootout type game. Cripple Creek is the little creek that runs through Bear Country. It still does. Now it's where you can play poo sticks. But it's always been there, and there's actually a famous old folk song called Cripple Creek, which Disney recorded for the Mark Twain. You hear it on the Mark Twain, and so I'm including that, plus one other song recorded at the same time to represent Cripple Creek, with the sound of trickling water and a little waterfall in the background, and birds give you the feeling that you're there. Okay, so the Golden Bear Lodge and the Hungry Bear Restaurant are the same location, but originally, for several years, it was called the Golden Bear Lodge, and later it was renamed the Hungry Bear Restaurant. So the first track is the original playlist from 72 up until a few years ago that played. This was the background music. It's not the full list, it's just a partial. It's 15 minutes of it. I don't have all the information to do the entire loop, but it's a good chunk of it. Now this track, the Hungry Bear Restaurant, is the current version that you'll hear today at the restaurant, and it's actually the same loop that plays in the queue area for Big Thunder Mountain in Tokyo Disneyland, and I think that's also the loop they use at Disneyland Paris for their Big Thunder Mountain. And it includes all those mile-long bar songs, plus all of the Thunder Mountain background music kind of mixed together as one loop. So we also have this section called Country Bear Jamboree, the Genesis, and these are tracks representing sort of how the Country Bear Country evolved, how the idea came to be a part of the Disney park. So the first real kind of spark was the 1960 Winter Olympic Games, which Walt Disney produced the ceremonies for. And this is the fanfare music that was written in the Disney studio for the Winter Olympic Games. And these games sort of did help to spark the idea a bit that was behind what eventually became Bear Country. If you listen to these tracks, you'll get it. You'll understand the evolution. I'm not going to go into it now. I also have a podcast on the Country Bear Jamboree if you want to go back and listen. It goes through the whole thing in great detail as well. But that's for another time or place. Just take my word, the Olympics was part of the evolution, believe it or not, of Country Bear Jamboree. I also have the audio from the 1941 how-to Goofy short, The Art of Skiing. Because that too was part of what evolved, because originally it was going to be a ski resort, part of a ski resort. That never happened. And then I have the story behind that ski resort and how it evolved into Bear Country, as told by actual Disney legends such as Alice Davis and Xavier Atencio in this little segment from a documentary produced by Extinct Attractions. I edited it down to just include the relevant information here. And then this is a documentary from the early 70s about the people who were against building the Disney Mineral King resort. It's interesting. It's not terribly negative against Disney. It does point out that it's not Disney we're mad at. We're just mad at the idea of developing this area. And Disney, so it's not, it takes the other perspective. I wanted to include track 16 as well as 17 so you can hear both sides of the story and make out your own, decide for yourself what you think. I'm kind of in the middle myself. So there are two sides to the story, but eventually they did not end up building the resort because of conservation concerns. And this sort of tells that side of the story as it was unfolding. So it's kind of like how people saw it at the time that it was happening. So this is interesting. It's the audio from a actual documentary. And it's actually hosted by Burgess Meredith, believe it or not. Believe it or not. That was not on purpose. So anyways, Bear Band Serenade, well, these were already on the site, but 18 and 19 are demo recordings from the early ideas of what they were going to do. And then Project Florida is a segment from a little documentary they made during the construction of Walt Disney World when they first were building Country Bear Jamboree. So this is just a short little part of it that talks about the development of Country Bear Jamboree. So that's the Genesis little segment of the page. That's all been finished, so you can go listen to that and see how Bear Country became Bear Country in Disneyland. This track was already on the site, but I redid it. I just cleaned it up slightly. And it's the original intro to the show when Pepsi and Frito-Lay were the sponsors of the attraction. And so it's just a slightly different version of the opening of the Country Bear, mentioning the sponsors. Country Bear Jamboree is the show itself, the full show from 71 at Disneyland 72, but I did some major cleanup and improved the quality of the audio, so that's why it's new. It was on the site, it's been on the site for years, but this is a new and improved version. So this section was all done already, but I redid one track, Tex Ritter, Blood on the Saddle. I just did some cleanup, that's all. Same track that was already there, just slightly improved. These two tracks are new to the site. These are two different groups that were definitely either inspiration or involved in the Country Bear Jamboree to a major degree. The Stoneman family actually were the country group that recorded the soundtrack to the Country Bear Jamboree, but they were a musical act on their own, and this is just some of their non-Disney music that was being produced around the same time that the Country Bear Jamboree premiered. So it's interesting to listen to this because you can definitely hear how it is very similar to the music of the Country Bear Jamboree. It sounds a lot like it. Homer and Jethro were a country comedy act that two of the songs in the Country Bear Jamboree were covered, and they also sort of inspired the brand of humor that is in the show. So I included a bunch of their songs that are not part of the Country Bear Jamboree, so you can just get a sense of what that group was about and how it inspired the show. So that's sort of a fun lot of funny little spoofs of popular songs, and like, how much is that hound dog in the window, stuff like that. Track 40, the Country Bear Jamboree Tribute, is a part of what was a traveling arena show called Disney on Parade. Each year had different segments, and for the final season of 73, they did a Country Bear Jamboree segment as part of this traveling arena show. So this is just a brief snippet, because it's all I have of some of the music that was included in the Country Bear segment of Disney on Parade. So you can get a taste of what that was. Fantasy Follies, which was a live show at the Carnation Gardens throughout the late 70s and all the 80s. They had pretty much in every variation of the show, they always had a Country Bear Jamboree segment with the characters from Country Bear Jamboree. So this is a segment from that show that involved the Country Bears, and they sang the Bear Necessities plus other songs from the Country Bear Jamboree. Track 44 is music from the Tokyo Disneyland version of the Country Bear Jamboree. It's about 1/3 of the show. A lot of the show is just the American version. So this is mostly just the parts of the show that are in Japanese. Same music, underscoring it, but different vocal artists doing the singing and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting to hear it all in Japanese. Track 45 is sort of a techno beat version of the opening songs from the Country Bear Jamboree from a recent album within the past 5 years or so called Disney Parade Music or something like that. So it's just kind of a fun little montage of music from Country Bear, kind of played in a modern way. See, a lot of these I still haven't finished yet. I'm still in the middle of working on this chapter. Track 53 is a little promotion put out, I think probably for the Disney Channel, talking about how they were updating the Country Bears to the Vacation Hoedown. And it has an interview with kind of the main Imagineer behind the technology that updated the figures. And I can't remember his name, but it mentions his name in this clip here. But that's a picture of him right there. And so it's kind of an interesting little behind the scenes. And this is fun because this is an attraction that was never built. So I had to sort of create something to represent something that actually never existed. So I just had to use some artistic license and creativity to sort of give you the impression of what this might have been. And this was what was called the Critter Country 500. When they were thinking about removing the Country Bears, one of the things they had initially thought about was reusing the animatronics, but putting them in a dark ride situation instead of a show. And so this was going to be sort of a race car thing featuring the Country Bears as the contestants in this wacky race. Kind of reminded me of the Hanna-Barbera wacky races from Saturday morning cartoons. So I'm actually using the music from the opening music from the wacky races as the music to represent this. And I have my own voice going. On your marks, get set, go. I lowered it by several octaves so it sounds deeper and doesn't really sound like me unless you know it's me. And then I have sound effects of racing cars and skidding and, so it's a lot of fun. And it definitely, I feel like it's a good representation of this attraction that never happened. So be sure to check that one out. That one's a lot of fun. So moving further down, I just have a couple more that I've added. I still have quite a bit to go. The Barbershop Geese is just those little segments from America Sings that involve the Barbershop Geese. So it's like 2.5 minutes of all their different songs from the show. This is already on my Tomorrowland chapter, and I think one other chapter. So this is not anything new, but it's new to this chapter. Splash Mountain Imagineering is, again, another segment from the Disney Channel talking with Imagineers about the upcoming attraction Splash Mountain, which was at that time still in the development stage. Track 80 are 2 Disney Channel spots which talk with Imagineers and sort of talk about the grand opening. That's the guy's name, Dave Fighton. That's the guy I was talking about earlier. He was involved in Splash Mountain as well because that was reprogramming the America Sings animatronics. So that was a technology he reused for this attraction that he had developed. So anyway, this is 2 different little segments on the Disney Channel that were to promote the new attraction that had just opened in Disneyland. So that's what those are. And moving down, I think there might be one more. Maybe not. Oh, there's a couple Winnie the Pooh ones. This is my little segment representing Winnie the Pooh. So this one, number 106, is actually Paul Winchell, the original voice of Tigger, who is doing a safety spiel as you are about to begin your ride on the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So this is a nice little thing. And he says, keep your hands, arms, and legs inside, watch your children, etc. The typical safety announcements as you're about to start your ride. And then the last thing that I added is the Pooh's Honey Hunt Bee Chorus, which is background music that you hear at the Tokyo Disneyland version of the Pooh's Pooh attraction. And so that's kind of a fun little... I have this whole section here that's Winnie the Pooh attractions at other parks besides, in the United States. So Winnie the Pooh and Friends around the world. So I've got Tokyo, I've got Paris and Shanghai represented in this little block of tracks, which is coming soon for the most part. So that is everything for the Country Bear and Critter Country chapter. And so that's what's happening. I'm still working on this chapter, and in the weeks ahead, a lot more of these tracks are going to get added, and you'll see a lot more content throughout this month, and then I'll be beginning a new chapter after this one is completed. I have about 38 tracks left to work on for this chapter, and so hopefully within the next couple weeks I can get all that done. It's in progress. So, thank you once again for your continued support, and have a very, very happy holiday season, and I will see you in 2022. Goodbye, everybody.